WTO is associated with long talks, various tariffs, customs quotas, imports and exports, as well as with other terms which our consumers sometimes do not understand. The task of WTO market program is to break all the barriers between buyers and sellers because we know everything about the prices. The past and the present of construction materials market in Kazakhstan. How do state-run programs help to develop in-house production? Exports increase and imports decrease. Stone Wallpaper launches a challenge against expensive natural stone interiors. This innovation is nothing but natural cut sandstone in the shape of decorative tiles. Flexible stone is sold in the form of rolls and secured with glue. Scientists from Singapore developed a smart window. It gets blue in the daylight and reduces room heating by half. At night time, the window clears up. In such a way, the smart window reduces lighting and space cooling expenses. A Swiss company produced plaster which regulates humidity in flats and houses. The new product successfully fights against condensed water on walls, absorbing up to 90 grams of vapor per 1 square meter. High rates of house building in Kazakhstan and, most importantly, availability of own raw materials base ensure a steady formation of the construction materials market. The market of Kazakhstan consists by 57% of domestically produced building materials. The share of domestically produced concrete and concrete structures is 100%. Almost all the materials in our country, such as gypsum, gypsum plasterboard, slake lime, quicklime and water lime, are domestically produced. Kazakhstan manufactures concrete, reinforced concrete structures, as well as wall, insulation, roof and waterproof materials on an industrial scale. Currently, the country's domestic market is saturated with basic building materials. However, only several years ago the situation was quite different. Right now we stand in the hall where we can see all the materials necessary for tile laying and finishing works. Most of building materials that we buy are produced in Kazakhstan. Among them are plasters, glues, insulation and of course gypsum plasterboard, which is one of the most important construction materials in Kazakhstan. We produce it ourselves. However, some 20 years ago we imported it from Germany in huge quantities. According to the Investment Committee, in the period between 2012 and 2016, under the Industrial and Innovative Development Program, 204 projects to the amount of 371 billion tenge were implemented in Kazakhstan. This has provided the country with 19,000 new workplaces. Currently, the National Program 2020 is being implemented. This allows to increase the production of wall materials. 50% of building materials are domestically produced. Nonetheless, in terms of material and technical equipment, our production still has not reached the level of advanced foreign technologies. The main reason are lack of investment, high degree of equipment wear, up to 55%, slow replenishment of fixed assets and shortage of qualified workers. Still, the state is going to fight over these hardships in the nearest future. In the period between 2015 and 2019, under the National Program of Industrial and Innovative Development of Kazakhstan, emphasis will be put on the production of building materials from wood, plastic, glass and ceramics in priority sectors. Some areas of the construction business in Kazakhstan are developing at a fast pace. Manufacturing of plastic windows is one of such areas. It is explained, first of all, by availability and affordability of primary materials. In Almaty, there are quite a lot of suppliers of accessories and components for plastic windows. There are good domestic manufacturers who also sell us their materials. Notably, competition at the local market of plastic windows has become quite tough. This makes manufacturers pay particular attention on quality of their goods and the price policy. There is a surplus of companies at the market of plastic windows in Kazakhstan. This business is not so large, but a lot of people want to do it. Some of them simply buy the most primitive equipment and assemble windows in their garages. A major impact of Kazakhstan's accession to the WTO on the building materials market can be observed only in future, experts think. The rebuilding of the entire sector of building materials production has already begun and will go on because, according to the conditions for entry to the WTO, Kazakhstan needs to reduce its dependence on imports at this market. According to manufacturers, some improvement can already be observed. Kazakhstan's membership in the WTO is not so long. The only advantage we have is customs privileges for our goods in Russia, Belarus and Ukraine. This is a good support for our trade and production. Some production branches in Kazakhstan are almost underdeveloped. For instance, faience and semi-porcelain sanitary ware, refractory materials, ceramic-facing slabs, wallpaper and laminated materials are purchased abroad in extensive amounts. Russia, China, Ukraine and Germany are the principal importers of building materials to Kazakhstan. Russia and China head the list. Floors from Belgium, Moldova and Ukraine are the best in the range of our goods. We are also interested in goods from China because their proportion is very high all over the world. There are also a lot of goods from Russia. Russia, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan and Turkmenistan are the key countries for Kazakhstani building materials. We sell polyethylene pipes, Portland cement and polymer film to Russia, cement and gypsum goods to Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan and pre-engineered building systems to Turkmenistan. Exports of building materials are still several times lower than imports. Nevertheless, the pattern is changing. Imports are reducing and exports are increasing, as evidenced by statistics. Imports of building materials in 2016 reduced by 11.4% in comparison with 2015 and made up in total almost 3 million tons. Exports rose by 51% in comparison with 2015 and reached in total about 700,000 tons. In monetary terms, exports increased from $59 million to $89 million. This is a milestone on the way to the independent industrial production of some building materials. Each of us, sooner or later, faces the prospect of home renovation. Many people do it simply. They entrust all the works, including selection and purchasing of construction materials, to the repair team. But we recommend you to focus on the process at least at the time of purchase. And this is not only for the sake of money saving, but also for the quality control. For example, they can be Vaseline, vinyl, acrylic, textile, glass, fiber, cork and even bamboo wallpaper. Paper wall covering is the cheapest option. They're ideal for bedrooms, children rooms. These are environmentally friendly and breathable wallpaper. Their drawbacks include lack of strength, vulnerability to moisture and quick fading. But at the same time, they're easy to hang and can be vacuumed. Now let's make it clear how we should select proper wallpaper. First of all, we should pay attention to high-quality package with the information about the manufacturer. Paint should be environmentally friendly. It should have a good smell and should not be easily washed. Pattern should be of high quality without blurs and defects. Package's roll should be of equal size. Difference in color or pattern are unacceptable. It is also advisable to examine symbols which are usually printed on packages by the manufacturer. The wave. Number of waves refers to the level of waterproofness. The arrow helps us to choose the right direction of wallpaper application as well as the pattern disposition. The sun indicates the level of light resistance of the material. Technological gap between Kazakhstan and foreign manufacturers can be one of the development challenges for the domestic building materials sector. Specialists emphasize that companies in developed countries spend up to 2% of their turnover on research work. This is necessary for getting products which would answer the up-to-date criteria of energy efficiency and ecological compatibility. Nanotechnologies are one of the most progressive trends in modern house building, science and other areas of life. For example, in order to produce an extremely thin layer of insulation or heat insulation material, we do not need some thick warmth-keeping materials. Instead of that, we apply a layer of paint. This is a protective and, at the same time, insulating and decorative paint. That is why nanotechnologies are being implemented in all life areas, including house building. Building materials manufactured in Kazakhstan can be qualified as products of low degree of processing. Currently, only basic construction materials are produced at an appropriate level. After the accession to the WTO, further development of this sector and extensive construction of housing in the country, experts expect that the domestic science will be aspiring to innovative trends of the world building industry.